Welcome to GoSimcha, the podcast that takes you on an in-depth approach to the Jewish music, entertainment, and simcha world. Now, here's your host, Zeesha Littman. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of GoSimcha, the podcast. We had so much fun recording the episode, but it couldn't have been done without the help of our sponsor, Keren Simchas Chassan V'Kalos. We're going to take a minute to hear a little bit more about them. The following episode of GoSimcha, the podcast, is proudly sponsored by Keren Simchas Chassan V'Kalos. Keren Simchas Chassan V'Kalos was founded over 25 years ago and is based in Brooklyn, New York. KSCVK helps widows, orphans, and people who are in dire need of marrying off a child. Working through their network of vendors, KSCVK ensures that every wedding is just as special as the next. Run by world-renowned party planner Devorah Benjamin, KSCVK takes care that each wedding is as elegant as the next one, ensuring dignity and class through every wedding that they put on. To donate to KSCVK, please visit their website, kscvk.org, today. That's kscvk.org, and help make someone's wedding special. Hey everybody, welcome back to another awesome episode of GoSimcha, the podcast. This week we're kicking off episode 32, the week right before Purim. Nichnas Adar, Marvin B'Simcha. This is exciting news. And what better way to kick off a new episode with a new up-and-coming singer. You guys have probably heard of him on singing with some other people, and seeing some of his music videos. He's got some pretty famous cousins out there making the rounds now on the scene. I'd love to welcome Eli Levin to the show. Eli Levin to the show. Pleasure to have you, my friend. What's going on? How are you?
Hey, how are you, Zeesha? Thank you for having me on.
Hey, man. It's my pleasure. It's a big schluss. I love doing episodes with guys who are up and coming, who are putting out new music, good quality music, and it's people's window into learning more about you. So it's my pleasure. The pleasure's, seriously.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm excited to talk to you about whatever it is. Let's get into it.
Okay. So what's your story? I mean, it seems like I was trying to find you. I was trying to see if you had a website. I was trying to see if you had what you got going on there on your presence online, so I could hear more of your music. I've heard some of your songs. I've heard your collaborations that you've done with people. But what's your story? I mean, how'd you get into all this?
Yeah, it's interesting. I've actually been doing it for quite a while. I've only been doing it full time for the past 2-3 years, but even doing it, it has only been mostly through word of mouth, and then now I use Instagram heavily. But I've been performing for events and simchas for probably at least 10 years now, but just much more as a side thing.
Interesting. Meaning you started.
I've always been musical since I've been a little kid. I've always been interested in music. I've never been able to resist picking up an instrument if I saw it.
Nice.
And growing up, it was always with me. Whether it's the camp and actually thinking about it, Purim was always my favorite day of the year, because then I got to get out and entertain people and experience the thrill of performing for people, in public, going to people's houses. And it's coming to Purim, and it's always been a big thrill for me.
Nice. So it's exciting. We're coming up to your favorite day of the year, and are you performing at all, or you're just gonna enjoy the day? You're gonna go out and enjoy the day.
Yeah. It's actually, I've been doing the same gigs for the past couple of years. You guys should know, if anybody's listening who's in the Brooklyn area, the first night of Purim, I farbrengans by a guy, Yitzi Berger, on 28 between Quentin and R, and we've been doing that. It could be 8 years now.
Wow.
And it's always good. It's always a good show. It usually goes pretty late, so people pile in and sing along well into the night. And then I do a Purim student monthly during the day.
Oh wow, very cool. So back to your background in music, your beginnings in music. Like, how did it all happen? Meaning, you said you were always very musical. You could never resist picking up an instrument. Listen, I know I'm the same way. I literally keep my guitar behind me at all times. And it's just fun. It's exciting when you have such a talent. Like, what really got you started in this? Like, what was really the push that you're like, this is really this is.
Yeah, interesting to think about. I think, well, first of all, my family is all very, like you even mentioned in the intro, I have a lot of musical talent in my family. My father and his brothers were very into singing. There's a lot of Kabach influence on that end as well. My father and his brothers used to actually bring with Shlomo.
Oh wow.
And if I remember, I don't know how early in, but a very big help for me and influence was a guy, Yaakov Browdy, who actually years ago used to play with Shlomo by a lot of his events. He was a keyboard player, but he's also a guitarist. And he was in a bungalow colony with me upstate. I don't know if you're familiar. Where are you from, Zeesha?
I'm from Detroit, Michigan originally. One of those out of town places.
Yeah, so it's not in Brooklyn.
No.
But it's a little outside. So here in Brooklyn or the tri-state area, a lot of families would go upstate in the summer to bungalow colonies, and my family went to several different bungalow colonies, and one of the places was called Sheves Achim. And there was a family there, Browdy, and I grew very close to them. And he actually probably taught me my first few chords on guitar. So learning from him brought me into the Kalbach zone. So that was probably the source of my Kalbach, or heartsick, soulful origins. And then going from there, I got a hold of the guitar. Actually, I think I found one in my grandmother's basement, probably my uncle's old guitar.
Nice.
And the rest is history.
Nice. That's great. It's funny. It seemed like I asked this question a lot, like how you first picked up to people, how you first got started. And then, the funny thing is the answer is usually the same. I found an old guitar in my basement and I just kind of picked it up. But it's incredible, like you never know you never know what's going to happen. So
I always think of it as like the best thing that happened to me, and I always tell my friends to get there. I used to give guitar lessons. A lot of people would ask me about giving guitar lessons, and I always said, like, it's great, it's amazing, but it has to come from the kid. And if the child wants it, then it can be awesome. If it's not, if more the parent pushing it, then a lot of times it's actually worse, because then it might turn them off for the future. But personally, in my life, it has definitely been my sidekick my entire life. Playing music, being able to liven up events, have fun with friends, going away for weekends is always awesome. Playing music.
Nice.
So I promote it fully.
Nice. No, for sure. It's a great way to relax. Also, music has such a power over us. Like to sit down and pull out your guitar, or any instrument. It gives you it brings out such a power and it's a different experience. It's a level of the Vegas, a very amazing experience. If you have that ability to use that and go out there and liven people up and make them happy and enhance the mood, enhance the situation with it, you're doing a good thing. So I noticed you mentioned to me before that you came out with this music video, and I know we were talking before the show that I really like your sound. I found that music video is very inspiring and very uplifting. So what's the story behind that?
So this is a song I learned in Israel years and years ago. When I was in yeshiva, I actually learned in Mir in Israel, and I took advantage of my time in Israel, made sure to spend Shabbat in many different places. One of my favorite places was this little town called Pumpidisa.
Oh, no way.
And there's a family. Do you know the area?
I know the area, sure.
Yeah, so there was a family there called the Loafers, Josh and Orly Laufer, and I used to go there, bring a couple of friends. Very musical family. Shabbos was always just uplifting. And Shabbos morning, we would go out into the woods and daven shachars there. And this was a tune that they would use for the Halukah. And I loved the energy, and I always, meant, and I planned on one day, trying to spread it in America. And it took a while, but it finally, last summer, it's 2 summers actually when I recorded it, right? I released it this past year. I recorded it with Ruli Ezrachi, phenomenal artist. And we went to Minnewaska State Park. There's a place called Sands Point. If you look at the video, if you watch it, everybody was like floored because it looks like it's in another country. It's gorgeous. It's on top of a mountain overseeing a crazy view. And I actually brought a piano up on top of the mountain. It was a whole to-do.
Wow.
But it was amazing, but it's really here in New York, upstate New York, pretty close to where all bungalow colonies are actually. Now involved. And I had an awesome response to it. People loved it. I'm so happy to have brought it. It happens to be a lot of the songs that are becoming popular now are, I would say, in that family. Like people are turning on to this, generic, raw, I almost call it like settler music style.
Music.
That's really cool. So now we're going to take a quick moment to hear a word from our sponsors.
We've come to the time of year again. It's the 2019 Ura auction with prizes much bigger than before. Just you wait, see what we have in store. 12 tickets to Israel, a big fat check, and the shade-dome jewels to put on your neck. Pay your rent, get a car, let us clear your deck. Go relax and win some weekly cash. We'll cover your tuition bill and maybe give you a new van. We'll send you on a trip nearby or to the Holy Land. Shop online or in New York, you'll get a great big shopping spree. Or $50,000 you can take home instantly. It's easy to enter, just call us or go online. Just make sure you do it before you run out of time. More than $600,000 in prizes, only $5 a prize. Enter now at uraauction.org or call 1-877-7-AUCTION.
And we're back from our commercial break.
And I'm happy that it's taken off.
That's cool. And I guess you can say you could coin the term settler music and use that as new genre.
Oh no, it's not my term. I've heard it around. It's funny. I don't know who. Maybe Chaim David. I heard it from. He called the American music shiny shoes music.
What is called?
Like the polished like studio music that we're used to on all our albums.
Right.
He called it shiny shoes.
That's funny.
Shiny shoes music. And this is like, raw, and you can actually feel the artist with his guitar. You can almost, it's almost like it's more raw, down to earth, real. And there's something that I connect to on that kind of music more than synthesizers.
No, for sure. I personally am not a fan of the synthesizers and how like people you can take the keyboard and make an entire album basically off of a keyboard. I don't know if you've ever been to like any weddings or any simchas in Israel, but they generally have like one instrument and it's either the keyboard or the drums, at least in Yerushalayim, and they'll make the whole band off of one keyboard, and it doesn't sound like
yeah, sure.
And
but like, I mean, I'm not knocking anybody else's style, but this is something that that I love.
No, for sure.
That's what I heard.
I mean, I was listening to some of your music and watching some of the videos on your Instagram page, and I can see that you put your whole heart and soul into every performance, whether you're singing by a chuppah or whether you're singing at a kumzitz or something like that. You really are real, and you're very raw, and put everything into that, and it shows, and it reflects on your music. Oh, for sure. And that's a great sound, because when you're real, people can pick up on that, and that's how you get people into that. I've seen some of your videos, like the videos that you have on your pages, and that's how you get people really into the moment, into the matzav, is by being real and connecting with them on that level.
Yeah, thank God. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, for sure. Listen, you got a gift, man. You got a gift, and you're using it, and Baruch Hashem, it's a full-time part of us. It's funny because I speak with a lot of people in your industry, and only a handful of them can say that they do this full time. Like Mordechai Shapiro, last time when he was on our show, we were talking about it. He said, this is what he does full time. And
right,
Kenai Nahar, it really, it's cool. He's actually here in Israel now. He's doing a show tomorrow night in Beit Shemesh, like near where we are.
I love Mordechai. I feel like he's actually a great mix of the shiny shoes and subtler music. You can hear his heart when he sings. You can feel, and his skill is tremendous, and range is awesome. So yeah, I'm a huge Mordechai Shapiro fan.
Yeah, he's real, and his dance moves. Oh, we were clowning around about his dance moves. He's got those.
I'm gonna take some lessons from him. Actually, I'm gonna call him after this. I need to learn how to dance right.
Yeah, learn how to dance. Yeah,
I get jiggy with it.
He's got those moves, man. I'm telling you. But no, it's cool. Like to say that you can do this full time and you're booked and people are calling you, and it shows that you really enhance the matzav. You really.
It's funny. Not a lot of people know. I'm actually a CPA.
Really?
I got my master's in accounting. While I was doing it at night through Fairleigh Dickinson FDU. And a lot of people, when they hear that, they're like, dude, if you're an accountant, why are you not doing accounting? I'm like, I'm doing music. Why would I do accounting?
Exactly.
I love what I'm doing, and a lot of people are like, why even did you ever go for accounting? It's so not who you are. And it's true. At the same time, I did feel connected to it when I did it. And it's good to have, but I am so happy that music has turned into a full-time occupation.
So how'd that happen? I mean, mind I ask, how'd that happen? Because it seems like with these things, you get one gig, you get two gigs, and just kind of snowballs.
That is a lot of how it happens. People initially, maybe 10, 12 years ago, it started out like somebody just asking me to come to his son's bar mitzvah and just sing a song or two, and then it becomes then somebody sees me there and hires me for their kid's bar mitzvah and for whatever. I do want to give a credit to a friend of mine, Benny Kahan, who was a bass player in New York, and I remember he came to my house at one point and was like, "Yo, Eli, we have to bring you." Like he would be doing events. People knew him as the guy who arranged music and set up bands, and he pulled me in, and I think that was a step up for me. So thank you, Ben. I owe him a lot of Karsatev. And it got me a little bit more used to, actually the gig scene.
Nice.
And yeah, it's just it is a big part of word of mouth. And the more gigs you do, the more events you do. People, I don't know. Some people don't like the word gig. I'm just stuck on using it. But the more events I do, the more people see me, and if they like it, they reach out to me. And Instagram was a huge bump for me. I saw that I was able to share my stuff, and people enjoyed it, and it helped me grow a lot.
That's really amazing. That's really, really amazing. And now you're releasing a new song, Motzei Shabbos, Never Give Up. What's the story behind that, and why are you releasing Motzei Shabbos?
Okay, this song, by the way, I am very excited about it. It's a beautiful song. My friend, first of all, I wanted to say that being in this industry, I get to meet so many cool people and amazing people that really have like opened my world to see a lot of different parts of Judaism, I guess, or Yiddishkeit, or people who are in different spectrums. One of these guys that I am like floored by is the guy Charles Bloomstein, and he's the guy who wrote this song. Charles is constantly creating an energy around him, and he backs it up in every way he can. He reaches out to people, and he actually started this brand, Thank You Hashem. I don't know if he wants me to say that actually, but it's about pushing out a bright positivity and energy and thanking Hashem for everything that we do. Meanwhile, he and his brother's Eli Bloomstein. I don't know if you've heard of him. He has been known for creating some beautiful songs, writing some beautiful songs. So together, they were farbrenging with a couple of friends, and they came up with this Negan. And Aryeh sent me like a voice note. Aryeh Bloomstein, he sent me a voice note to learn this song because he had hired me for an upcoming event. And he's like, I'd love if you sang this at the event. So I learned that. And I think it was a Shabbat Brachos that he was hosting. He has a company. He was making a Shabbat Brachos for one of his employees.
That's so nice.
And everybody was singing around and got into the song. And in the middle of singing it, I was inspired and I created a third part. And it sort of felt like I made the song mine. And Aryeh loved it. And he was like, Eli, we have to record this. We have to put it out. It's awesome. And we went to Donnie Gross, who is a tremendous studio engineer. And he put the song together. We recorded it. We have some choir, people singing of him and his friends, that's Carl and his friend Aryeh, singing, backing, and I am feeling so good about this song, and I can't wait till everybody hears the whole thing. You could actually hear a minute of it on my Instagram. I shared a release little clip so that you can get a taste of it. And we figured what better time than to make sure it gets out before Purim. And that way people could be farbrenging before, definitely we don't want to wait till after Pesach,
Nice.
It comes up and then it's a little bit of a dead pause. So we're going to be, I'm glad that this is working out now so we could pump it out so people could hear about it, because this song is complete soul. And the word is in Yush Ba'olam, and never give up. And it's that kind of energy that the world needs right now, I believe. There's a lot of changes and like very fast in our lives here. I think political stuff has clouded everything, and people are very divided and a lot of that kind of stuff. I see a lot of rise in anti-Semitism around.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that a lot of the youth is very struggling with a lot of change that's happening so quick. And I think that this is a great message and a good feeling, hearty, soulful song for people to connect on.
No, for sure. I mean, I know it's quite interesting. You mentioned to me before the show, you're telling me a little bit more about yourself and how you said recently you've had a couple of different tragedies come through in your family, and it's such a sad thing. But like with your song, it seems like you're taking that music and elevating it and really never giving up and keep moving forward and taking that power and the koach of music that you have to keep your head up and keep going. And I think it's very interesting. I mean, I tend to make these types of comparisons from what on the show, like when I talk to different people and I find these different nuances within people's music. And I think this is very, very interesting how your song Never Give Up is coming out, and all these things happened to you over the past couple of years, like you mentioned to me. And I think it's a really big tool to keep going strong.
Yeah, I definitely feel like that is my mentality. generally a lot, whatever comes your way, you could be weighed down by it and get stuck, or you can figure out how to keep moving forward, keep your head up, and stay positive. And I think a lot of it, I'm lucky that it's just natural to me to have that. And I know that it's not fair to some people who are really naturally weighed down more by these things. But at the same time, I do believe that a lot of it is up to you. A lot of the way you process and react to things is your choice. And I choose to push forward. I choose to keep my head up. I choose to enjoy the good things about life. Let me give a shout out to my daughter, Lonnie. She's my everything. And she's like the greatest gift. We all have tremendous good in our lives. Just the fact that you have a brain, a human body, anything, think about your life and you can find a million amazing things about your life that you can focus on and appreciate. And somehow we let the one or two things that seem to be real downers just cloud out everything else, and that's a mistake, because every day you could wake up excited.
Wow. You've just given me tremendous amounts of chizuk, my friend. And you're 100% right. You got to appreciate the good. You got to appreciate the good. You got to be besimcha. You have to enjoy every little thing that comes your way. And because you can't let the little things get you down. And I like it. I'm telling you, I like it. And that never give up.
It's funny. I was just talking to another musician, and it's very common, and I have this also, that after every gig, I'm very critical. Was that good? How did that sound? Where people have to nervous whether it didn't hit right. And
right.
And a lot of musicians have this, and I've talked with other friends, and I realized that as you do more events, the good parts don't stick out because you're used to doing that every night. It's just natural to you. You only notice the things that were a mistake or didn't go right. And if you keep perspective of that kind of stuff, you realize that's the same thing not only with music but with every single part of your day. The smooth parts are smooth because they nothing went wrong, and they're not going to stick out in your head. The only stuff that's going to stick out in your head is something that you felt embarrassed or something you felt uncomfortable, unhappy with.
Right.
And if you keep the right perspective, you can just let that fade into batal b'shishim of all the amazing stuff.
No, for sure, 100%. And that's truly the amazing thing about it all. And again, back to music. Music has that power to really just overcome everything, and you live through it and you live it. And that's why I like your sound, man. That's why I really like your sound. And I said before, it's real, it's raw, it's uplifting. It has that same kind of feel like Shlomo Carlebach. And you've taken that and you've kind of adapted it to add more soul to it. And I really like that. So,
thank you.
For sure. So what's the future hold for you and your music?
It's a good question. I have sort of been taking it day by day, and opportunities have been coming my way. And I try to jump on the ones that look good. A lot of people ask me, when my CD is coming out, or if a CD is coming out. And for a while I've been saying, I don't feel the need to put out a CD. I like the niche that sort of I'm in. Thank God I'm busy, and it's putting me in the kind of jobs that I enjoy.
Right.
And, a CD is for the goal of a different kind of arena.
Right.
But at the same time, there is there does seem to be demand. Like a lot of people are asking me and saying, like, when are you putting out? I want to listen to your music in the car, and I want to, an album. So, I'm weighing that around. I'm messing with it, and I'm interested. A big hesitation is that I don't know. I would want, if I did release a CD, for it to be my own material. I have a problem that I have written some stuff, but I never feel good enough about it that it's something that I'm excited or proud to put out. Maybe one or two, and I hope to release those as well. And besides, it's a different world now in terms of what the purpose of a CD is.
For sure.
In the olden days, it was literally whatever. Growing up when I was a kid, the CDs that were coming out were for profit. It was meant as a way to make money, but I don't believe that's the goal nowadays for basically all musicians who put out CDs. I think it's much more to promote yourself and to get known and to be heard and to be in the now.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because we've had this debate multiple times over on the show with various guests, and some people are into the CDs. Some people love putting out the albums. They find it very, very powerful and very effective, and others have really seen that it's just better to put out singles. And for both those reasons alone, I'm saying, like, people, you're not making millions off your albums. Like, unfortunately, right. you're not making millions off your albums, especially in the Jewish industry. And so it could be used as a way of, like you said, getting your name out there, getting more people to hear your stuff. But at the same time, it's costly, and to put out 12 tracks and have that one track or so to be what people are going to know you for, it might, depending on your situation, it might be worthwhile to just do a single. Me personally, I like albums, and I was telling this before. I forgot who. I think I was talking with Yoni Z and Mordechai Shapiro. I forgot who we were talking about this with, but I find that albums really, you can tell a story with it, and it gives you a better perspective on the artist, because each song is a different part of the story to bring together the entire album. With a single, you get to know, it's a one, I guess, as they say in the secular world, one-hit wonders. So, it's all about your perspective on it.
It's true. I think I hear what you're saying. I do think, though, that even if you do put out an album, it's not played in the same way that it used to be.
Right.
They used to have CDs or tapes. Now people are making playlists, and it's basically, right. Even if you did put an album, you end up people focusing on one or two of the songs, and the rest of the songs don't even get heard. I don't know. I know myself that I'm busy every night, so I'm trying to keep on top of the songs that people are singing. I'm not learning every song from every album that comes out. I'm hearing the ones that are popular,
right?
And I don't even know the other ones.
Right. No, for sure. So, what would your favorite song be that you've either ever written or covered or heard?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I don't really have an answer off the cuff, but I was just thinking as you were asking that I have written a song. It's a lullaby for my daughter, and I have never shared it publicly, but that's very touching to me. Maybe, no, I don't really feel like it's a song to share with the public. It's just very personal, but
that's okay.
I have a song, and once again, nobody's going to know this yet because I haven't released it, but there is a song that I actually wrote many years ago, and my father always gets on my case that I have to record it. He loves it, and my mother actually told me that it's regularly like that. She can find him playing the song and listening to it. And it's a funky, cool reggae feel, and it's called Yifei Nok, about Jerusalem, Yerushalayim. And I do hope to actually record that.
Nice.
I can share that.
Nice. That's really cool. I look forward to hearing that. So where can people find your music? Where are people going to be able to find this new release for purchase? I would assume we're big believers in buying music over here on the show because you eat.
Peace and love, brother.
Exactly.
Okay, so my biggest platform for myself is Instagram. You can find me at Eli Levin Music,
Okay.
ELILEVIN Music, and I do my most pushing out, promoting on my Instagram page.
Okay.
You can look through my posts and see information about the song that when it will come out. We plan on releasing it this month of Shabbos, and there will be a link on my Instagram bio for you to be able to click to the YouTube video.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely check out my Instagram, because that you can see a lot, like almost pretty, like for some periods of times, like almost nightly, like clips of the events that I'm doing, or some covers that I'm doing. Yeah.
Cool. And I'm assuming that this album, or not album, this single is going to be for sale, or you're giving it away?
So the song is being released by Charles Bloomstein, and he's going to be putting it onto all the music platforms such as Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Google Play, and that kind of stuff. I'm guessing, I don't know, I didn't discuss how it is. I'm guessing it's like a regular song, however you buy or download a regular song. But it could be he's not interested in charging for it. I would look into it and see. And I guess whenever I push out the song, maybe we'll have that kind of info available.
Cool. Wow. Well, Eli, it was seriously a pleasure to have you on the show, and I really look forward to hearing more of your music. I'm gonna start following you on Instagram. Well, I think I already do follow you on Instagram, but I want to keep watching your stuff and keep listening to your music, because it's really inspiring, and it's cool to meet people like you who are out there doing what you love and making money off of it too, but really going out there doing what you love, inspiring people and making music. And I think it's really cool. And
thank God, Baruch Hashem, I'm very lucky.
Well, you said it yourself.
I forgot to mention the past song that I put out was with my friend Avrami Spitz. He put out an album called Faith, and he featured me on one of the songs called Anna, which is Please. If you click on the link in my bio currently on Instagram, I'll bring you to that video. Yeah,
cool. That's very cool. No, so I was gonna say, you said it yourself before that, like, you're able to, the gigs you do and the type of stuff you're doing, it's really in line with what you like to do. And when people said why are you doing accounting, you could be, why are you doing this? You really set yourself. You're able to choose what you want to do, who you want to work with, and that's the ultimate in enjoying what you do for a living. And so I wish you continued that with it.
Baruch Hashem, thank you so much.
Sure, man. It was seriously a pleasure having you on the show. Keep doing your thing. Keep doing what you're doing, and keep us updated. And if you ever release that other song, or you ever come out with an album, please, by all means, keep me updated, because I want to hear it, and I want to keep following you and keep supporting you.
Thank you so much, Zeesha. Really good to talk to you.
Sure, no problem. All the best, my friend. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Have a good one.
All right. Bye. You've just listened to another wonderful episode of GoSimcha the podcast. For more news, updates, and information on our next episode, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram at GoSimcha Live, and don't forget to check out the show notes and videos on www.gosimcha.com along with zeradio.com. Thanks for listening, and remember, Go Simcha!